In the observation logs of High Priest Kavora of the Zealoth race, pure energy beings who self-identify as the architects of life, humans always sat at the bottom of the potential rankings. At Future Lab, the chosen specimen was Elias, a third-class mechanical engineer with a habit of drinking strong black coffee and sleeping less than 4 hours a day. The Galactic Council approved the Violet Nerve project with an implicit irony. They considered this a preordained failed experiment. Violet biocables are a network of semi-organic polymer conductors, capable of transmitting data at the speed of light and withstanding a voltage high enough to roast a space whale. Specimen 882, human, is an obsolete biological entity, Kavora recorded in the report. Their nervous system relies on slow electrochemical impulses, dependent on sodium and potassium concentrations, a primitive technology from the early era of the universe. Replacing this network with violet cables is like trying to force a flood through a plastic straw. We predict that as soon as it is activated, the specimen's brain will turn to ash due to the quantum feedback phenomenon. In the eyes of the Zealoth scientists, Elias was just a meat sack desperately trying to reach the level of higher races. They believed humans were so weak they had to borrow forbidden technology to compensate for their own slowness. Disaster struck on the 42nd day of the trial. An entity known as the Electromagnetic Revenant, an Omega-level information virus, escaped its electromagnetic cage in the lab's alien research sector. In the universe, the Electromagnetic Revenant is the definition of silent death. It does not attack with claws, it attacks perception. For races with sensitive nervous systems like the Vidian or Zealoth, this entity is like a solar storm sweeping through an open circuit board. It infiltrates every nerve fiber, overwrites brain impulses, and forces the host to end themselves in a state of extreme terror. Code Black Alert. The alarm echoed throughout Future Lab. The Electromagnetic Revenant has infiltrated the central network. All Vidian personnel within a 1-kilometer radius have suffered brain liquefaction. Survival rate, 0%. The Zealoth scientists were trembling in lead-shielded cages. They saw the monster's dark blue energy mass gliding along the corridors, searching for anything capable of conducting neural electrical signals. And Elias, with the violet biocable system glowing under his skin, was an irresistible beacon. When the Electromagnetic Revenant pierced through the steel door and lunged straight at Elias, Kavora closed his eyes because he did not want to witness the scene of a human brain exploding. But instead of an explosion, the room resonated with a long sigh of satisfaction. Elias did not run. He did not even stand up from his chair. The violet cables running along his neck and temples began to glow brilliantly, resonating with the presence of the death entity. While the alien scientists were screaming in panic, Elias pulled an old handheld game console from his pocket. He pressed the buttons while muttering, "Oh, thanks, little buddy. The Wi-Fi at this station is crap, but the energy you're putting out just boosted my download speed by 500%. The Revenant monster seemed shocked as well. It attempted to unleash a voltage pulse large enough to wipe out a small planet directly into Elias's nervous system. Elias's entire body shook, his eyes flashing with violet electric sparks. But instead of collapsing, he laughed heartily. That felt great. It's like having an itchy back and someone using a diamond drill to scratch it. Hey, can you redo that twitchy part in the occipital lobe? That spot has been sore since I stayed up last night binge-watching movies. Elias started making tea. With one hand, he held the kettle, with the other, he touched the energy entity directly to borrow its heat to boil the water. To Elias, the monster that terrified the galaxy was just a sentient electric kettle. Kavora stared at the biometric data appearing on the screen and realized a horrifying truth. The human nervous system was not weak at all. It was simply a system that had been suppressed by biology for too long. By replacing it with violet biocables, humans didn't just gain speed, they gained a new battlefield. To understand this, Kavora had to look back at Elias's origins, Earth. A planet where creatures had to evolve to endure extreme pain, adrenaline shocks that made the heart want to explode, and neurotoxins from plants. We were wrong, Kavora muttered, tentacles trembling. We thought the violet cables would overload his brain. But the human brain is inherently a massive signal waste processor. They have spent millions of years filtering out the horrific noise of survival. The transmission signal in Elias's violet cables was calculated by the formula $S_output equals \frac \delta\phi\ln 1 plus text stress \k_humanity in which $delta\phi is the energy from the monster, but it is fragmented by the infinite stress tolerance of a species that regularly poisons itself with nicotine and the pressure of bank debt. Kavora realized that the electromagnetic revenant was exhausted. It could not find any fear to absorb. Instead, it was being digested by Elias's violet cable network. Elias's nervous system was no longer a mere conduction network, it had become a data black hole. This human was using an Omega-class entity to cool the heat dissipation system for his violet cables. They are not herbivores, Kavora recorded with a trembling hand. They are apex predators of the will. They live in a world where everything wants to kill them, so when they meet death, they simply make friends with it to see if it's of any use. After the revenant monster had its energy sucked dry and was left as nothing but a faint, small spark, Elias grabbed it, stuffed it into an empty thermal flask, and snapped the lid shut. He turned to look at the Zealoth scientists standing stunned behind the protective glass. Elias scratched his head, the violet cables under his skin had now turned a gentle lavender color, looking quite fashionable. Hey, Dr. K, Elias tapped on the glass. This electric mosquito is too weak, it ran out of battery after only 10 minutes of zapping. I feel like these violet cables haven't really been warmed up properly yet. It feels a bit cramped. Kavora stammered, what else do you want? You just devoured an entity that could destroy a fleet. Elias enhek mepqa, on matlu lensu to mo dien rodac jum quajan lo I space orc. I heard that in the Delta sector, there's an artificial black hole leaking Hawking radiation, right? Could you guys toss me in there for a bit? I want to see if these cables can help me hear the sounds of the past like those conspiracy theory nuts always say. Besides, it's probably warmer there than here, I have a sore throat and need a bit more intense heat. Kavora immediately submitted his resignation and recommended that the Galactic Council quarantine the entire solar system. Not to protect humans from the galaxy, but to protect the galaxy from those who would use a black hole to cure a sore throat. Future lab file #V404 closed. Final note, never upgrade humans, unless you want to see them turn the apocalypse into an outdoor barbecue.